Hello everyone and welcome back to the fourth season of Aris and Greece Builder Nation. After the World Cup disappointment of losing in the semi-finals, we're back at it, back at club level, and we're going to round off our January transfers and look at the teams in our league that have bought players as well. So we'll look at Olympiacos, Panathinaikos, PAOK and AUK Athens as well, see how they get on with their signings. But we've had a massive transfer window. As you can see here, £34 million spent is a record by us. £30 million out, so really only spent £4 million, which is not that bad, to be fair. I mean, we've had some great players leave the club. Yuki Sommer has left the club. He wanted to leave. He wanted big money, and Al Wedder came in for him. And they bidded like 11 million, so we thought, you know what, he wants to leave. He wanted like huge money. He went and nearly tripled his wage at Al Wada. So fair play to him, 29 years of old as well. So we wish him all the best. He's been absolutely brilliant for us on this save. Other key outs are Killian Fisher. We only had him for one season. Leeds come in and have completely unsettled him. But look, he's a quality player. He's tripled his wage at Leeds. What more could you want for him? He was quality for us. He was one of our leaders in the dressing room. But again, wanted to go to a bigger club, and we wish him the best. Fonserosa was a player who came in for 600k and we sold for big money to Eintracht Frankfurt. Well, big money, 4.5 million is a huge investment. He's been a very good player for us, 62 games for the club. I'll miss him, but again, he went and, added 10 grand to his wage. What more could you really ask for? Ramadan Sobhi wasn't going to play this season. We got him on a free transfer, so any money made for him. He had a very good season, 8 goals in 24 games. We can't argue with that, but he went off to Sunderland and we wish him the best. Other players that went out are Yurka, Cope Miners, Guardino's gone out on loan again, and there's a fair few young players as well that have gone out on loan. But the ins this season have been quality. We also lost Brandon Williams as well, which I will show you. He went to Aston Villa for big money. And Luca Netz came in as his replacement. I think Luca Netz is one of the best left-backs on the game. I can't believe we managed to get him. He was unhappy at Borussia Dortmund. He wanted to leave and his contract was running out. So we kind of, took advantage of that as well, which you should always do in those situations. We also paid big money for a new-gen Serbian centre-back, 18-year-old, one cap for the Serbian national side. He's got 3 goals in 5 games and he's playing centre-back. This guy is a beast from corners. I'm not going to lie, he's going to be one of the best centre-backs on the game. He'll probably win Golden Boy at some point if he doesn't win it this year after the showing that he's currently making at this club. Another player we went for as Yuki Sommer's replacement was Mikhail Podishayev. I've definitely ruined his name. That's what we do on this series. But he's been quality so far. 1 goal in 5 games, mainly off the bench as well, which is good for him. He's going to have a good season. He's got bags and bags of potential. Going to be a Russian international, I would imagine, at some point, if Russia are allowed to play international football in this game or not. I don't know. But if not, we'll have him for Greece. He'll be a great right winger. We do need one of those. Other players we brought in, and we've brought in a lot. Hugo Sikwe comes in at right back as well. We've taken a gamble on a young man from Ireland. Andrew Abomadeli has not played for Nottingham Forest since they bought him. He was a good player at Norwich, had lots of potential, and I thought, you know what, he was worth a risk. He is on big wage, but we didn't pay that much for him. I reckon if we play him, he will develop and we will sell him on for big money. If not, he'll be a great player for us in any case. We've got some good players in as well. And one of the biggest ones was Joe Bellingham, as you saw on the last episode. But Adriano Onyegabule, I've definitely ruined his name as well. 400k, be our best attacking midfield player. Has been unlucky with injuries so far, but has been absolutely class for Basel. So, I mean, what more could you ask for? 400k, we took a gamble, he's worth 4 million. If we sell him for 4, we sell him for 4. It's happy days. But the one player I want to highlight for 1.7 million, who I think is our signing of the summer, is Samuel Husto. Came in for 1.7 million from Sporting Lisbon. Didn't really get a game for them, but is one of our best players, if not our best player in the squad. Worth £13 million already. He's already scored 3 goals in 5 games for the club in the league. He's an absolute generational talent for this football club. But let's see what the other clubs in Greece have done so far. This season, Olympiacos have decided to spend some money, and fair play to them. They didn't do well last season, so they needed to spend this season. We beat them in the cup final. They finished second by a long way. They sold 2 players in Ramon and Mark Bombardo, who went to Atletico Madrid. But they brought in Haris Tabkovic from Herr Berlin even, and he's a striker that has already got a couple of goals and a couple of assists for them, so he looks a fairly decent signing for Olympiacos. And Samuel Mutilari is another striker brought in, so they needed reinforcements in the front line, and they feel like this could push them forward and bring them closer towards challenging us for the title, because we are you know, 3-time champions. They've got Noah Lopez in on a free as well, which is an absolute class signing for them. He's one of the best young players on the game, so fair play to him. They signed a great player there. How well do you think Olympiacos will do? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video. Another big spending season for Alk Athens as well. They've brought in Frendrup, Maquilo, Pedersen, Piccoli, Pavel, Hugo Kaneka, and a young player in from Man City as well as selling Jose Marsa, Sergio Carrera, Petko Histrov, Sian Kostankovic gone on a free as well. They've got rid of a lot of players. They've brought a lot of players in. They've loaned out Ponce, who was their best striker for a couple of seasons. They are a good side, and with this level of spending and level of investment, they could help, you know, the Greek league do well in Europe, and they could help push us, you know, have a real three-way fight for the title. The sad story of Panathinaikos continues. No real investment in the club, and they are currently sitting 12th in the Greek league after 5 games as well, so they're really down there. They've only spent 1.7 million, and so transfers out is 1.1, so a net spend of 600k. They are a fading force, and it is sad to see the players they've bought are just not good enough. Players like Arvin Appiah for 60k. I mean, these are like League 1, League 2 players. I mean, I feel sorry for Panathinaikos fans. It's a shame, but their club in my save has gone down the pan. Last club to cover is our biggest rivals. It is PAOK. And again, they haven't got that level of investment to push the club forward, or indeed to push the league forward. They've bought basically one player for 1.1 million and a 300k player, 9.5k out, which means they haven't got the finances to push forward. They're going to be, you know, there or thereabouts this season for 4th and 5th. They're not going to be no real challenge. We're going to slap them about like we have done every single season. And as the window's ended, this is how we're getting on in the competition so far. The Champions League has not started yet. We've got a decent schedule, which I will show you. But in the league, we're unbeaten 5 from 5, 21 goals. You wouldn't expect anything less. Olympiacos 5 from 5 as well. AEK 4-1, 12 points. And as you can see, if we scroll down, there is Panathinaikos on 3 points after 5 games. Joint bottom with Panathinaikos and Asteros Tripolis. They're absolutely doing awful. I mean, they're in Europe as well, so they're not going to help with our coefficient. But what can we do? We can only help them by buying players, and they won't sell us Ayadanis up front. They won't sell us other players. We might just have to bite the bullet and spend big money on them so we can help them going forward. Our schedule so far has been absolutely class. We are unbeaten. A 0-0 draw against Ludogorets away from home. We played basically the players that don't play. We didn't need to win it. We'd already beaten them 5-1, so I'm not really that fussed about that result. But our Champions League group league stage, whatever you want to call it these days, we've got Chelsea away. We kick off against them. That's going to be tough. I don't see us getting anything out of that. Celtic, Ajax, and AC Milan at home. Well, we beat AC Milan away last season. We'll beat Celtic. We'll beat Ajax. We're better than them at this stage. Bayer Leverkusen away. That's probably going to be a draw. We seem to get them every season, and we seem to draw against them, so that'll do. Celta Vigo, we haven't played, but I fancy our chances against a team like that. They're a decent side, but they're not really on our level. And as we move through to the end of the league phase, we've got Salzburg and PSG. I think the fixtures have been kind to us. I think we can have a similar run to what we had last season. We should definitely qualify for the knockout rounds, and we really should be, you know, trying to get to the quarterfinals again. But the draw is the draw. We could get a hard draw. We could get a bad draw. Let's see how we end up before the end of the December window. After a transfer window, we now had to take control back of the Greek side for the Nations League. And we're in Group B, one below the elite level. And we've got an elite group, to be honest. It's a very tough group. Anyone could do anything from this group. We've got Denmark, Hungary, and Serbia. We just want to stay in Group B. That's going to be the aim for this Nations League. And hopefully we can then push on into Group 1 when we're fully ready. Let's see how we get on. And the good thing is we've got 4 games to play as Greek manager. This is going to be insane. We kicked off this 4-game bonanza with a game against Denmark, possibly the hardest in the group, but after your goalkeeper makes mistakes like that, you know it's going to be your day, as Bazakatas scored a hat-trick in this game as we won 4-0 to kick off with the perfect start to the group. We then had back-to-back away games against Hungary and Serbia. Hungary scored first, but we came back into the game eventually to beat them 3-1 with the main man Bazakatas scoring bangers. We made it back-to-back 3-1 wins despite Restos getting sent off on his best attempt for us to lose the game. We couldn't believe it. We got 9 points out of 9 going into a very tricky home game against the Hungarians. But there is just something special building about this Greece team as we thumped Hungary 7-1 at home. They were down to 10 men as well. Willy Orban got sent off. But since changing to the Grumbledore tactic at international level, we have only been beaten by France and only been beaten because we had 10 men. This tactic could potentially win us the Euros and the World Cup. It's looking like it's going to get us to the Nations League top level as well. What a start for the Greek nation in this Nations League. That amazing start left the group looking like this. We are top with 12 points and most likely going to win it. If we can avoid defeat in both of our games coming up, then we will win it. We've got Serbia at home and Denmark away. Denmark already slipped up against Serbia. They drew 2-2 in the previous game. We've got to go to Denmark away. That's going to be a tricky game. But even if they beat us, as long as we'd avoid defeat against Serbia, we should be okay to win the group and go into the Nations League A. I don't think we're ready for teams like Germany, England, and France, and the Netherlands all at the same time. But that's what we're here for. We're here to progress this nation. The excellent start and the World Cup has left us being ranked the 12th best nation in the world. We are so close to getting inside the top 10. When we started, we were in the top 50. We've worked our way up through the nations rankings, and we are just behind Croatia, Germany, Spain, Belgium. We've beaten the Netherlands. We gave good games against... We beat Brazil. We gave good games against the number one team in France. Boys, we could be in the top 10 before we even get into the winning the Euros or the World Cup. This is absolutely insane for the Greek nation. Back at club level, things have been going swimmingly as you would have expected. The only real shock is Olympiacos, after 12 games, have only dropped 2 points. I mean, they are looking absolutely class this season and could be a big threat for us, making it 4 titles out of 4. In the Champions League, we're having a very similar Champions League season to what we had last year. We've had some brilliant results in the Champions League as well. Some great results, especially the game against Chelsea. Expected nothing out of this game and we beat them 4-1. Chelsea were absolutely dreadful in this game. I don't know what happened to them, but we just literally had 4 shots and we scored 4 goals. We FM'd them, we take it, we move. Celtic was an absolute basketball game in the Champions League. I mean, it was goal after goal after goal. We just came out, we just punched a little bit harder than them. We beat Ajax and had another basketball game against AC Milan. I mean, it's not great going forward if we're going to have these basketball games. We need to tighten up if we're going to go further in the Champions League, but we are unbeaten in the league as well and unbeaten in the Champions League, so we can't ask much more going in to finish off this UEFA Nations League. Back in the Nations League, we had Denmark away and it started off horrifically as Højbjerg put them in front from a penalty kick, but it was all us after this. Surprisingly, we scored just before half-time. Palvidis with a tap-in from a Mavropanos header. Nothing you could do about that. And again, just before the stroke of half-time, we finished the game off to make it 2-1. Palvidis with an unbelievable performance in this game as the Valkis finished the Danes. Wrapping up the Nations League, we had a big game against Serbia to remain undefeated and have a perfect record in the tournament. But it didn't start off very well as Ilic scored twice to put the Serbs in front. And it was looking shaky at this point. We gave them the rocket at half-time. We had to, because going in 2-0 down after the second Ilic goal, he's pretty much unmarked in the box. You can't allow a quality player that much space. But the rocket came at half-time, the bottle got thrown, everything got thrown, and we made 4 substitutions, and the comeback started on the 52nd minute with a great goal. Cross from Palvidis, deflected in off of Milenkovic and in the back of the net to make it 2-1. We were back in the game very shortly after with Mancini's great run. He's been a great addition to this Greek side. And here he comes as Antoya. Antoya twisting, turning. It's a tap-in from Devalkis. And after this, we put Serbia to the sword. Leaving the group with us top promoted into the top half of the Nations League. We're going to be playing teams like France, England, Italy, Spain, the Netherlands. Some very tough teams going into the Nations League. All we have to do is try and survive. That's going to be tough, but that's what we're here for. 18 points, 25 goals, 6 goals against, 19 plus goal difference, 6 wins from 6. An unforgettable Nations League experience and an unforgettable episode. And if you love this series, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because we will win the Nations League, we will win the World Cup, and we will win the Euros with Greece, and we'll win everything at club level as well.